On a gorgeous afternoon in Bethlehem, PA, you are watching USL opening weekend as Bethlehem Steel take on Richmond Kickers. Bethlehem Steel off a playoff campaign a season ago, making it to the postseason for the first time. Richmond Kickers, though, very much a struggle in 2017, missing the playoffs for the first time since 2003, won just 8 games and scored just 24 goals. And with that, let's transition into our players to watch and off-season changes for either of these teams. We'll start first with Richmond. Eviel Cordovez comes from Charleston Battery, and that goal scorer that Richmond were sorely missing last year.
And that was one of their main points of the offseason, is finding that striker who can help them out in a place that they needed it last year. Cordovez comes from Charleston. He's very familiar with this Kickers team. They are familiar with him. He scored twice against them last season, but he'll be that big hold-up forward, and he's been quoted as saying, "I want to score goals. That's what I came here for," so look for that today. No Dane Kelly due to injury at the moment. As for Bethlehem, some familiar faces. There's a lot of turnover at Bethlehem Steel with their relationship with Philadelphia Union, but these two players coming back. James Chambers, the heart and soul of this team. He's been called the heartbeat. He's a veteran for them. With a lot of young players, he's the guy that they look to really set the tempo. And then Santi Moar was a rookie last season, finished as a runner-up for Rookie of the Year, led the team with 30 appearances, was second on the team in assists, led the rookies with goals. He is very successful for them, had a great rookie campaign, and now with that experience is bringing it to his second year. James Chambers can be described as something as an old head at 31 years of age. Coming up next, we're bringing your starting lineups and first half kickoff. It's opening weekend in USL. We have Bethlehem Steel against Richmond Kickers next.
Family would do without TiVo. It doesn't matter if a show is live, on demand, or even streaming from Netflix. No more juggling remotes, switching inputs, or guessing who has the show or movie we want to watch, because it's all on one box. TiVo has great apps like Plex, which lets us stream home videos and music from our computers and phones. And with kid-friendly apps like Toon Goggles, I feel safe giving the kids a little TV freedom. And I can enjoy mine too.
Union fans, Dunkin' Donuts has the perfect assist for DD Perks members this season. Score medium hot or iced coffee for $1 the day of every Union home game when you use on-the-go mobile ordering in the Dunkin' app. Order ahead, skip the wait in store, and go! Enroll in DD Perks today and order your next Dunkin' run on the go. Dunkin' Donuts, the official coffee of the Philadelphia Union. The Union runs on Dunkin'.
The Lehigh Valley's largest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles in one location is Rothrock. We have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, an award-winning service team, ultra-modern facilities for comfort and convenience, and the best deals in the Valley. During the Nissan Now sales event, drive the 2018 Sentra S CVT for just $108 a month. Or a 2018 Rogue S all-wheel drive, now only $150 a month. Family-owned for over 57 years. Rothrock, where the cars are.
Live coverage of Richmond Kickers away to Bethlehem Steel opening weekend here in the USL. Both these teams lined up and ready to go for the first half. Chris Winningham alongside Morgan Conklin for this one. Let's bring you your starting lineup first with Lee Calishaw's Richmond Kickers. And we already mentioned Eviel Cordovez. He's going to be more of that target forward. Look for how Brian Shriver works off of him, how he maybe checks a little bit more to the ball. And then looking at this back line, a big addition in Mikael Williams in that center back position with Connor Shinosky. They're really going to anchor this back line. That was pretty good last year. For Brendan Burks at Bethlehem Steel, obviously plenty of movement up and down on the roster. You see Matt Real on that left-hand side at left back, just 18 years of age. Average age of this squad, the matchday squad, at 21.5. And a couple new pickups for them as well, especially up top, Brandon Allen, the 2016 Rookie of the Year within the league. Had a great season last year with the Red Bulls too before he was pulled up to the first team. So I'm interested in how he fills this role, especially with some of the movement that happened in the forward position. As you get a look at both the managers, Brendan Burke in his 3rd season, signing a contract extension, and chatting with him a couple of days ago about the project, about the work that's meant to be done. Meanwhile, for Richmond Kickers, Lee Kalishaw in his 18th season, last won the league in 2009, looking to get back to the playoffs after missing the playoffs for the first time since 2003.
And Lee's just been such a mainstay in the Richmond area, a big part of the academy teams over the course of the years, and they're definitely looking to bounce back after a season that they were not happy with in 2017.
Without question, as you look at the way that they finished in the standings, 8 wins, 8 draws, 16 losses, but more importantly, playing 32 matches, scoring just 24 times, they're going to look to turn around that goal-scoring form.
And they brought in players that can do so. That was the main point of the offseason, really one of the positions that they wanted to figure out is that front runner, forward area. They want to look for a good pairing, and I think Cordovez and Shriver, just with the characteristics they have, I think will be good. Cordovez obviously has had success against this Richmond Kickers team, so how does he do now playing for Lee Kalishaw?
The player we're excited to see, though, not in the matchday squad today, is Dane Kelly, leading goal scorer in USL last year, 18 times, scoring for Reno 1868. But when you look at the movement between DC United, so he signs for DC United, gets sent to Richmond Kickers. Once he's in this team, then they become potent.
And he's just been so successful in this league. The USL's all-time leading scorer last year, just lights out with Reno, which that team had an outstanding offense. But I'm excited for him, especially seeing him in the Eastern Conference. Again, he obviously was in the past. Now how does he do with this Kickers team who, if they needed forward, they definitely got the job done in the offseason with the guys that they now have.
As we are underway from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, it's Bethlehem Steel playing host to Richmond Kickers. Bethlehem wearing their navy blues, as straight away we have an offside against Eviel Cordovez of Richmond Kickers. Going from right to left, Richmond wearing their white kits with the red trim. Nice sunny afternoon in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and for Bethlehem, very much part of this developmental project for Philadelphia Union, trying to bring through some players into the first team, which they have accomplished over the course of the last couple of years. You saw some in the opening game of the season for Philadelphia Union in Major League Soccer against New England Revolution, but also trying to have some on-field success, which they did last year, getting to the playoffs, losing to Louisville City in the quarterfinal. Meanwhile, for Richmond Kickers, as you mentioned, a first missed playoff appearance since 2003. It's been a decade and a half since they missed the playoffs, and Lee Kalishaw will certainly not want to do so again. This Richmond Kickers will try and proceed forward. The throw in there from Raul Gonzalez on that left-hand side. Come all the way through to John McCarthy, the starting goalkeeper for Bethlehem Steel, who, in the context of this team, can be considered old at 25 years of age. Be a throw in for Bethlehem. On that right-hand side is Matt Mahoney. Here's Derek Jones, 21-year-old Ghanaian, for Matt Rial, who was signed to a homegrown contract with Philadelphia Union. Will play today, though, for Bethlehem Steel. It is always interesting for these kind of MLS2 slash sort of the teams that they have in USL. It has been stated the stated objective is for Bethlehem Steel to funnel the best of Philadelphia region soccer talent through to Philadelphia Union. And they've managed to accomplish that relatively decently, as the ball is turned over. On that left-hand side is Eric Ayuk, turning on it, playing it for Adam Najim.
Well, and when you look at a player like Real, who was in the academy, was with Bethlehem last year, he was signed to go to Wake Forest and turned it down to take this contract. And I think what is most impressive about him, he's so young. And when he came, you see him last year, and it's just so impressive knowing he has more years to get better and just to grow and play.
And is playing at professional level against professional quality players from a team like Richmond Kickers. Richmond Kickers is exactly the kind of experience that Bethlehem Steel would want in terms of an opponent, playing against experienced and quality veterans. There's Brandon Aubrey. He'll play into the channel for Matt Rial. Can he find the right cross? He'll try and swing it in. It comes all the way through on the penalty spot, taken on the edge of the area, trying to squeeze it through towards Najim. Cleared by Richmond and away. Cordovez losing out though to Aubrey. Decent start in the opening 3 minutes for Bethlehem Steel. As the ball is sent in towards the penalty area, it's in the direction of Brandon Allen, but couldn't get that toe on him. And Brandon Allen is a threat.
But Chambers really being the quarterback in that situation. You see him with the ball at his feet, using his arms, and by pointing in one direction, the defense slides, and that allows Allen then in that space behind.
Allen going to put the goalkeeper Travis Wara under pressure. Taken to midfield, though, by Derek Jones. Did come on as a sub for Philadelphia Union in the 2-0 win over New England Revolution opening day of the season. Some changes, though, coming into that team. As here's Ayuk. They draw 0-0 yesterday with Columbus Crew, did Philadelphia. Decent start to the campaign. Mahoney. A nice ball for Marcus Epps. A lovely turn there from Mahoney into the penalty area, trying to find a window for an opportunity. We'll leave it back for James Chambers, whose shot goes directly into the defensive wall in front of Travis Wara. Imura and Brian Shriver play it back for the Tokyo native Yudai Imura, whose cross is well off the mark. You can hear in our crowd microphones the sound of wind. Very much will be difficult to pick out that long ball.
Once Imura hit that, he put his hand up knowing that he needed to keep that one lower, because with the wind, if you get under the ball, it's going to get stuck in the air. But what he did well there was when he won the ball, he beat the first line of Bethlehem pressure. And they like to press high, Bethlehem does, when they lose it. So if this Richmond team can win the ball and beat that first line, that's where the space is the pocket in between the first line and the second.
Brendan Burke telling us on Friday that obviously results and getting victories, getting into the playoffs is nice, but they're much more concerned with the development of these players and also getting them sort of ingrained in the style of Philadelphia Union. They want to be a pressing team, so you'll see that today as the ball is played off the feet of Oscar Umar, but cleared by Travis Wara. Wara among those with connections to DC United. 18 starts in goal for the MLS side. Richmond Kickers not quite the same relationship with DC United as Bethlehem Steel's with Philadelphia Union. Have a couple of lone players, including Wara. This ball is swung on wide here to Ayuk. Well done to keep it in play. Here's the Cameroonian. Try to swing the low cross in. Dealt with, though, by Richmond and away by Alex Lee. Only as far, though, as the 31-year-old James Chambers, the experienced old head, the Irishman in this team, relishes that role as kind of the veteran, and a nice ball in between the lines as well. Trying to find Brandon Allen. There was Adam Najim, but well dealt with there by Connor Shanowski. Opportunity now for Richmond Kickers on the counterattack. The Cordovez. Here is the Cuban. Actually was going to try the left-footed shot there. Easy intervention there from Matt Real. And now Bethlehem will play through Chambers.
Chris, with this Richmond team, you see more of a 4-2-3-1, and Shriver has dropped. We saw him originally, he was lined up more as a forward, but he's really dropped into that line of three behind Cordovez, and Cordovez has really established himself as that high striker. So when Richmond wins the ball, they either have to connect short and then find Cordovez, or he has to be their first entry ball. But that being said, defensively, you now see Cordovez as that first line of a little bit of pressure, and then there's this 3 or 5 if they're all flat, is that next line.
Chambers doing very well picking passes. Here's Najim as they're on the right-hand side of Marcus Epps. He'll try and work around the defender Troyer. And just to keep the ball, a couple of nice step overs there. He goes to ground, but it is a goal kick. Bethlehem Steel actually losing their top goal scorer from last year, Sekou Kane, not to Philadelphia Union or another American club. He actually moved to South Korea. Score of 10 goals last year for Bethlehem Steel. But in Brandon Allen, they have someone who's banged in the goals at USL level, 24 over 2 USL seasons with New York Red Bulls 2. Signed as a homegrown player for New York Red Bulls. Got the senior call-up, was loaned to Minnesota United in that next step just wasn't quite there for the native of Old Bridge, New Jersey.
And they're really looking for Allen to have a big impact this year, but they also have another forward in Aiden Apodaca, who's not in the 18.
The ball is into the channel towards Ayuk, well dealt with there by Wara.
Apodaca isn't in the 18 for this lineup, but they really think that he can push Allen. And if you look at this the last year's squad from Bethlehem, it's very similar to Corey Burke and Sekou Kone, who were able to push one another in that forward position.
Aubrey with a nice touch. Here is the 23-year-old Plano, Texas native. For Chambers. He's pulling the strings in midfield early stages. Mahoney going to try and play the 1-2. Now Aubrey with acres of space. This Richmond kicker side sitting in deep at the moment. Bethlehem Steel on the front foot in these early stages. The campus of Lehigh University. Here's Ayuk going to try and keep the ball in play, and he just about does so. Into the channel there towards Real, who had made his way forward and swept away. Aubrey towards the penalty area, coming all the way forward from a center back position. We'll leave it back towards Real, whose cross shot will come out for the goal kick.
That's very well done by Brandon Aubrey getting forward, but this Richmond team is almost making it easy for Bethlehem to win those opportunities because they have so many numbers behind the ball, which is fine, but when they win it, it's a turnover back to Bethlehem every single time. Their first pass, once they win, has to stay in the kicker's possession because when they lose it, it's in their own half.
Wara setting it long. You mentioned that kind of target forward. Cordova is doing well with the first ball, and Richmond able to win it back. Is a decent opportunity on here for Brian Shriver, who will have a shot, and it goes wide. Just couldn't quite find that burst of pace to really get into the area and threaten John McCarthy's goal.
That's exactly what that was. He settled for a shot there because he wasn't explosive enough to get in behind Real, who's tracking him, but there was no separation touch or separation burst of speed.
Dangerous ball there from Aubrey, back for McCarthy, but he deals with it well. Real. And Jones tried to spray it out to that right-hand side for Mahoney, but easy pickings there for Gonzalez in midfield. Shriver, and Gonzalez again has the ball out wide here for Scott Thompson. He'll clip the cross in, dealt with there by Jones. Thought maybe that was shooting opportunity for Thompson. It's Alex Lee. Sliding in there to win it was Mora, but it's a counter-attacking opportunity for Bethlehem Steel. To Brandon Allen towards this right-hand side for Epps. Marcus Epps, can he find the window to shoot? It's Allen again. The left-footed crosses towards Ayuk on the back post, but Lee was there to deal with it. Shove in the back from Matt Real, earns a free kick for Richmond kickers.
I've been impressed on both sides when these teams win the ball in transition with space. They're good going forward. There's movement between the front players. The defense is having to drop because of that, and they've both had the ideas of creating the final pass hasn't been there. But that's very promising, especially as this game goes on, is when there's the ball's in the midfield in space, these teams are able to create. They have the idea there.
Header down from Aubrey and cleared in the end by Bethlehem Steel. Real. Be a throw-in for Bethlehem. Fifth all-time meeting between these two teams. The series is split. Last year, a 1-1 draw here at the Goodman Stadium and a 3-2 win for Richmond at City Stadium. 1 win, 1 loss, and 2 draws for either of these two teams in this all-time matchup. Here's Travis Wara, University of New Hampshire product. Either of these teams trading headers, and Shriver's flicked header was to no one in particular. And now Bethlehem can play out. Here's Chambers. Matt Mahoney. Brandon Aubrey. Matt Rial, 18 years of age, a goal and an assist in 18 starts for Bethlehem a season ago. A heavy touch goes unpunished for Mark McKenzie. Chambers will now just go route one. Ball over the top towards Epps. He's able to take it off his chest, but cleared away there by Braden Troyer. Here's Jones, and just to keep possession. Mahoney with a decent ball into the channel. Direction of Najim. Dealt with there by Richmond, still on though for Bethlehem. Cross again is swung in. Ayuk was the only blue shirt in the area. And again, another opportunity for Bethlehem Steel. Epps couldn't quite figure out the touch. Here's Chambers. Wanted to play that ball to a running Matt Mahoney, but a bit too far out in front.
Braden Troyer on that left back for Richmond got so lucky on that last sequence. Once the ball was cleared from Shinosky, it bounced right at the edge of the 18. If you're a defender or if you're an attacker, that ball cannot bounce because an attacker is just waiting to run through that. Troyer could not let that bounce again because these Bethlehem forwards get high and they'll be all over it.
We've seen Richmond as well struggle to clear their lines.
That's really been the breakdown because defensively it's been pretty organized and they've dealt with the pressure from Bethlehem. They've dealt with those slip passes and the players running through, but it's when they win it, they lose it right when they try to play it out.
Classy touches there from Brandon Aubrey, but the sliding challenge from Umar wins the ball for Richmond. Umar, the nice pass, but putting Mikael Williams under pressure, and the TNT International able to work out of it.
Williams handled that very well. Classy touch to split the defenders coming at him.
And a heavy forearm towards Brandon Allen, and the referee is now going to stop play for an apparent head injury. Connor Shinosky, you see there wearing the captain's armband, the Pittsburgh native. Here's that heavy forearm towards the side of the head of Brandon Allen. As Bethlehem will put it in play, and Richmond will have another go. Richmond last year won just twice on their travels. 5 draws and 9 losses away from home, so we're going to try and change up that away form here in the opening game of the season. Well dealt with there by Mark McKenzie. Away by McCarthy. Right towards the Richmond bench. Gonzalez losing out. There's Marcus Epps, the 23-year-old Jackson, Mississippi native, actually made 19 appearances for Philadelphia Union last year. Getting a run out here in USL. Here's Aubrey. He's been really classy on the ball so far at center back. First round pick of Toronto FC and MLS Super Draft a year ago. Shinosky let him go back to his goalkeeper.
Great touch from Cordovez to bring that ball, especially having Aubrey right on his back.
Nice ball into the channel as well from Scott Thompson. Here's Brian Shriver. And it was Ayuk was able to put it off of Alex Lee's path, but still won back by Oscar Umar, the Ghanaian. 14 starts after joining halfway through last season. Very much a regular figure in Lee Kalashaw's midfield. All the way back, though, through Mikael Williams. Shinosky. Won by Aubrey in the air. Chambers. His ball wayward. Richmond Kickers, one of the legacy lower league clubs in the United States. Been around since 1993 in various forms, along with Charleston Battery, very much the clubs with the history in this league. A regular in the playoffs until last season. Missing out for the first time since 2003. Here's Matt Real. Richmond so far very much on the back foot. Jones. Marcus Epps. Another former super draft pick, Marcus Epps, second rounder from Minnesota United. Bethlehem doing very well building possession.
And it's easy for them to do so because this Richmond squad has dropped off very deep. But that being said, Richmond's able to kind of force Bethlehem into the space because there's not much since they've dropped off and they're playing so compact.
Chambers with not enough on that ball. You saw it kind of skipping up off of the pitch. Nice turn there from Alex Lee. Travis Wara being asked to do a fair amount with his feet. And you see there, that ball out in the direction of Gonzalez, coming up just a bit short. James Chambers, 31-year-old native of Dublin, Ireland. The ball is played out wide for Epps. Nice challenge, though, in from Braden Troyer. In a way, but only as far as Chambers again. Longtime player in the League of Ireland. Shamrock Rovers, as well as St. Patrick's Athletic. Would have been too easy to make a St. Patrick's Day reference.
I was waiting for it.
But he played for a club called St. Patrick's Athletic, so I feel like that's a fairly obvious connection. Jones tried to play it into the channel, came off the head of the Japanese native Imura. Still won again, though, by Bethlehem Steel and Brandon Allen. Very much putting himself about. Chambers, and again, to the edge of the area and nudge him, but immediately surrounded by white shirts and cleared by Troyer. Can Richmond try and maintain a bit of possession here? You see there, Cordova is trying to do something, and at the very least able to play it off a blue shirt now for a throw.
Mark McKenzie got lucky a little bit there. He went to step in front of Cordovez. He got a small touch on the ball, not as much as he would have liked, but still enough to knock it out of Cordovez's path, because if that touch was not completely clean, or if he missed that tackle, you have a center back completely out of position on the wrong side of a forward who is pacey trying to go at goal.
USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow at USL, simple enough, 3 letters, USL, on Twitter. Chambers will try and find, again, that long ball in the direction of Epps, who has the pace to get onto it, but the first touch just letting him down. It'll be a throw over by that corner flag.
We've seen a lot of play on the wings, or those balls trying to find wide, or maybe more direct ball into the forward. Because this Richmond team is dropping so deep and playing more compact, it forces a player like Najim, your attacking midfielder, not to be on the ball as much because there's not as much space for him. So he's a player to keep an eye on, 24 in blue. He's trying to find the ball. He wants to be on it, but there's not much space.
Decent cross intended. It was an awkward header off the left back Troyer, but Wara was always behind him. Good service, though, from Epps.
Epps just has way too much time out wide. Troyer does a nice job getting in touch. If he doesn't, that ball's even more dangerous because it's whipped in with Bethlehem players there.
Did also look a little bit on-goalie, though, so that was the slight concern about the trajectory off his head. Chambers able to win in midfield. Eric Ayuk, 21 years of age, will play it for Allen out wide. The left-footed cross is a pop-up, taken down by Epps. To the edge of the areas in the direction of Jones, but that was always easy opportunity for Umar to step in front. Ball from Mahoney straight at the defender, and Mikael Williams clears.
What I like about this Bethlehem team going forward is they do the little things. When Ayuk and that last play got the ball. He brought his first touch central, which forced the defender central, and then he was able to play the ball wide to Allen. And then even in that last one, the player looked wide, looked off a defender, and then was able to try to swing that ball central. It's just the little things that make a difference.
Mahoney. Chambers to the edge of the area, and Najim still trying to find that space. Mahoney again to try and find the right ball in. Tipped by Wara and turned in. Eric Ayuk celebrates with a backflip, and Bethlehem Steel have opened their account in 2018. Eric Ayuk with style both on and off the pitch. It's a terrific opening goal for Bethlehem Steel.
That was a beauty of a whipped in cross. Mahoney with the pace, it curls wide. Wara does his best, but the way that is just curling away from him, since he doesn't catch it, it forces the ball to stay in, and Ayuk is exactly where he needs to be. Keeps his eye on the ball, so when it drops, he's there to finish.
And awkward as well there from Travis Wara. He'd probably be thinking he should be doing better.
He's frustrated there because he knows that had to be a catch, but since he just got a tip, it was coming with pace, and the way it was curling out, it wasn't enough. He had to hold on to that one.
Najim. Bethlehem Steel very much on the front foot, and with the terrific start, it's lovely footwork again from Epps. The cross is sent in towards Allen. Can Ayuk find his second? He'll instead play it into the channel for the oncoming Real, whose shot is saved by Wara. Terrific start in the opening 25 minutes for Bethlehem.
Very impressive, this Bethlehem team getting forward, finding a lot of success on that right side, whipping the ball in, and Ayuk once again is open. And he's in a place where you can't man mark him because he's on the weak side, but when the ball gets to him, there has to be pressure faster.
Ayuk, the goal scorer for Real, the left back. Just the kind of start that Brendan Burke would have wanted. Signed a contract extension in the offseason, and now can really kick on in his project for Bethlehem Steel. Chambers. Fantastic ball there from Aubrey, but Real couldn't quite work his way around it. Oscar Umar, the Ghanaian. Came through the Right to Dream Academy in West Africa. Seen a few players come through there and make their way to this country. Bethlehem have had a majority of the possession in this one. 68%.
That's not surprising at all. We've seen the Richmond line so deep, and when that happens, it just allows Bethlehem to move the ball around. And when you only have that one target, Cordovez, who's higher, if he's not pressing, which he can't run all over the field and step everywhere, then of course Bethlehem will have more of the possession.
John McCarthy, who at times this afternoon could have pulled out the Philadelphia Inquirer and just hung out between his goal. Nice ball there from Imura. But one again by Chambers. You see a referee pulling it back. Is that a foul against James Chambers? He certainly didn't seem pleased, neither does Brendan Burke.
I agree with that call. Imura was tripped up, and the ref was trying to let them play on, but he waited way too long.
It's very late.
So I completely understand why Bethlehem's upset with that. It was a foul, but it should have been pulled back once you saw that. Richmond gained no advantage.
This long ball is sent in towards Cordovez, but easy work for John McCarthy. 20 starts in his Philadelphia Union career. 8 in 2017 with an injury to Andre Blake, their #1 in the middle of the campaign. Najim. Chambers. He can certainly pick out those long balls as Real, again, going to try and keep it in play. This time does so. Kind of difficult areas on either touchline in terms of the way that the pitch is. Seems like the ball rolls a little bit quicker on those dead areas of the surface. And it's Real and Shriver with it coming together. And it is indeed a throw into Richmond. Imura. Decent touch there from Cordovez, and now Richmond can charge on. The left-footed shot is attempted by Gonzalez straight into the defender Mahoney. Still on though for Richmond kickers. Gonzalez again. Play for Imura. Try and play the 1-2 on the edge of the area. Shriver unable to get it back to him, and now Bethlehem Steel is going to try and hit on the counter. The blistering pace of Epps. Play it for the oncoming Ayuk. The goal scorer plays it back for Epps into the penalty area. We'll send it towards Allen. Not enough loft on that and dealt with by Williams. But again, losing out in midfield to Richmond. Here's Jones. Tries to play it towards Epps, but a bit too much pace on it.
It's the same thing every time. The defensive structure is there, but they turn it over right when they win it. You cannot expect to build an attack if you can't keep the ball.
Good ball into the channel for Mahoney. Wanted to pull it back towards Epps, but not nearly enough pace on it. Dealt with there by Umar. And again, a foul against Bethlehem Steel. Be a free kick for Richmond. Playing in their 750th competitive match as a club, Richmond Kickers. 26-year history. Given the at times tumultuous state of the American game, always impressive to see that kind of longevity. That, of course, was the idea behind MLS, and they are succeeding in that end. But cool to see it outside of the context of that league. It's some good football here from Bethlehem Steel. Ayuk is on the charge. He's going to be able to get to it. Ayuk on the edge of the area, terrorizing Alex Lee on that left-hand side. Chambers. Jones. The Irishman again. Again, Bethlehem can build up. Already over 250 total passes, just a half hour in. Comfortable in possession are Bethlehem Steel. Play on, says the referee. It's advantage given towards Bethlehem. The challenges continue to fly in. Again, maintaining possession are Steel FC. Epps able to win it back for Mahoney, and finally the referee blows his whistle. Not sure for which challenge that was for, but either way, it's a Bethlehem free kick taken quickly in the direction of Allen, who stays on side, goes over in the area. The referee not interested in those penalty claims.
Shanoski's body placement. He used his body and just pushed Allen off the ball. It was such a quick restart that Richmond could have been caught there if their defenders weren't ready for that, if they weren't aware, because that's easy to give up a PK there, but very well done from Shanoski.
Ball turned over. Here's Epps. He's going to have a shot. And Wara able to save. Be a throw in for Bethlehem. As the ball comes into the penalty area, the shot comes in. It's off the boot of Ayuk. And it took a deflection on the way through off a white shirt to be out for the corner.
The 1v1 defending from Richmond has been pretty good so far this half. Earlier, Lee was able to track down Ayuk and then forced him to play the ball, so he was able to get out of that 1v1 matchup. Right there, Shanoski able to close down. It's been pretty good, especially when you look at some of these Bethlehem attackers and how strong they can be going forward.
And also how quick and pacey they are as well. You see at times Alex Lee just kind of saying, all right, you have me beaten for pace, but you're not going to have me beaten for guile, as the ball is sent in by Najim. Chambers now to try and take on that second ball. It's a throw in for Richmond. They're going to try and hit quickly on the counter attack. Opportunity here through Umar. Sprayed out wide to Alex Lee in his 6th season with Richmond. Lee again. Work towards Real. Umar, heavy challenge in from Jones and a free kick. Jones objects, but in a fairly dangerous area at Richmond will have a set piece.
Defensively, that was good from Jones, but he just got a little too handsy. He gets his arms in there. It's too obvious. This AR can easily see that. He's grabbing him, pulling him. That's way too easy. But defensively, body-wise, he did the right thing. It's just when you start pulling.
It'll be Gonzalez coming over to take this free kick. 20 starts last year with Richmond. College career at Memphis, just 23 years of age, one of the younger players in this Richmond Kickers squad. Thompson over it as well with his left. To be Gonzalez to leave it for Thompson. He'll clip it in towards that back post. McCarthy, it's underneath it and catches. Well done by the Bethlehem goalkeeper.
That was a nice ball played into Cordova, as you could see backing off his defender trying to get there, but just a nice job from McCarthy coming off his line strong. He was loud, so as Cordova hears that, he's probably not going to go up for it as hard.
McCarthy going for the Petr Cech style rugby helmet as well. Into the channel in the direction of Epps, but well won by Richmond. Thompson. Decent ball out wide here for Cordovez. Frustrated with the lack of options. Nice leave there for Imura. Thompson going to play it in towards Cordovez, appeals for offside, and finally the whistle goes.
Richmond's finding themselves in trouble, and Cordovez's reaction shows this, is there's not many options, and they're playing a bit reactive. Shriver got forward on that last turnover, but he was central and his run was straight, so there's nowhere to play him the ball. If he can bring his run wide and then get forward, he opens up space for the ball to be played into. But if you just have that one option and he's really limited it, Cordovez has every right to be upset because he's working as that target forward. He's looking to connect and he just doesn't have options.
Allen. And Ayuk. Derek Jones. Jones, an under-20 international with the United States. Played at the under-20 World Cup in South Korea. This ball comes through to Wara. Would probably want that moment back that produced Bethlehem's first goal. The cross came in and it was an awkward hand that just guided it into the path of Eric Ayuk to open the scoring. The 21-year-old made no mistake. It is a free kick for Bethlehem. Epps. As Mahoney tries to play it into the channel for Epps. Easily dealt with by Mikael Williams, one of the additions to try and shore up this defense as it's given away. Here is Epps again trying to work on Troyer, and it is a throw-in.
Williams and Wara talking there. Mikael Williams was going to leave it for Wara to come out for it. Wara was expecting Williams to pass him the ball back, so by the time it happened, you have a short pass from Mikael Williams to Travis Wara coming off his line, and they weren't able to clear it.
Aubrey. Solid header there from Alex Lee. And Shriver able to keep it in play for Thompson. Does have a very good left foot. This is better from Richmond Kickers. Sent down the line towards the run of Cordovez. Bethlehem able to win in the air and play it for Matt Real. McKenzie will play the long ball, streaking down that right-hand side. It's Mahoney, and he'll get there. Can he pick out the right ball? He'll look to play it back. Chambers. Jones. Mahoney again. Trial with the club before signing. 4 starts a season ago. They're going to play the 1-2 between Jones and Epps. Dealt with there by Mikael Williams. Richmond Kickers without forward Luis Fernando. The Brazilian suspended for violent conduct in the final game of last season against Louisville City. Both of these teams actually ended their seasons against Louisville City. Richmond in the regular season and Bethlehem in the playoffs. Of course, eventual USL Cup winners, Louisville City. As the ball is sent for Eric Ayuk to chase, and he very much has the pace to get there. Again, running at Alex Lee. Played in for the shot of Matt Real. It hits the woodwork. Fantastic shot from the left back coming forward and nearly making it 2. Still on though for Bethlehem Steel. The cross is sent in again off of Wara. Available again for Eric Ayuk. Quality chances coming here from Bethlehem Steel. Real again. Jones and Chambers. This is a really good build-up play from Bethlehem Steelers. Jones temporarily taken off of it, but able to win it back. Braden Schroyer coming into midfield to help do some the defending. Derek Jones going to charge forward. Works around multiple defenders. Can he carve out a shooting opportunity? Derek Jones for 2. It's a beautiful weaving run through the Richmond Kickers defense, and Bethlehem Steel are flying to start this 2018 season. Bethlehem Steel 2, Richmond Kickers 0.
This all goes back to their ability to not clear the ball. It finds its way to Jones, and he just beats 3 defenders. That is way too easy for Jones. He makes it look like all of us could do that. No defender steps high enough. Williams gets in, initiates some contact, but not enough. Jones just needs that little space, and that's what allowed him to get that shot off.
And neatly finished as well. Go towards that far post finish. That corner. Beautifully worked by the 21-year-old Ghanaian Derek Jones. You had kind of seen that run had been coming. Might that just be the USL Goal of the Week? Bethlehem Steel fans, you can check it out. The USL Goal of the Week every Monday evening. Make sure you cast your vote at uslsoccer.com as the road to the Fans' Choice USL Goal of the Year continues throughout the season. It might not have been the finish, but the run before it was incredible from Derek Jones.
Well, and Chris, you're right. You could see it coming because it had been set up with everything Bethlehem had done up to that point. When they won the ball in the middle, they were slotting it through. They were finding the runners. But no one had really gone with a penetrating dribble into the 18 yet, and that's exactly what Jones did, and the space allowed it.
Epps. On the overlap comes Mahoney. He's actually Eric Ayuk on that far side, temporarily switching flanks with Marcus Epps. Throw in for Bethlehem. Aubrey. His ball well off the mark. And with 3 minutes left to play here in this first half, how can Richmond respond?
Well, the best thing is establish possession. Establish a passing rhythm to one another, because we've seen it a couple times and it's been good. The issue comes when they lose the ball and they can't retain possession. So that's the first part. And right now, if they can establish that, they can carry that momentum into the second half. But it's finding your midfielders, find the other side, and just keep the ball moving.
Imura out wide for Braden Schroyer. Can they just get any possession? They cannot, as Adam Najim wins the ball back. And there's a 3v2 on here for Bethlehem Steel. Najim for Epps into the penalty area. Marcus Epps for 3, and it's well defended there by Shanoski. It is a free kick against Bethlehem Steel. That was a really quality opportunity for Bethlehem to add to their lead. as the pressure continues from Bethlehem Steel. Matt Real giving Scott Thompson no room to breathe. Nice touch there from Cordoves. They get a decent spell of possession here from Richmond. Can they turn this into something? Braden Troyer going to send it over the top in the direction of Cordoves. Real gets ahead to it and able to work it around Cordoves and just booting it away. Imagine we'll see some attacking changes made as Cordoves tries to find the feet of Imura. Richmond now trying to chase this game. Nice ball there from Umar. See also at the moment a very narrow shape from Richmond kickers in the attack. Lee and Thompson. Nice touch there from Gonzalez. Good football again. Gonzalez towards the byline, falls. It's a sliding cross, and the shot is on from Richmond kickers, but skied over the bar by Cordoves.
That was textbook work from Gonzalez there. The first touch, which allowed him to get end line, and then the ball slipped across. Just enough texture there for Cordoves. He just gets under it. It's one of those where he knows he can place that in the corner. But that's well done by Richmond. We've seen what they can do. You mentioned it earlier, it was narrow shape. No players were really moving to help, but once that first ball went by, once it came back across, you have the players running towards, and it's unlucky from Cordoves, but if that one comes to him again, I have a feeling he'll finish it.
Best opportunity of this match so far from Richmond kickers, but it came after Bethlehem Steel have been well on top of this one. Possession figures still 68-32 in favor of the hosts. As we near first half stoppage, down is Adam Najim.
Official time will be kept on the field.
So we have a scoreboard malfunction, so our referee, Marcos de Oliveira, will let us know what is going on. And we will not have first half stoppage time. So we go into the break with Bethlehem Steel in front. Eric Ayuk and Derek Jones providing the goals, and terrific goals as well from Bethlehem Steel. It was a terrific half from the hosts.
And obviously it's easy to focus on the great finishes and the attacking presence, but what started all of that was their defense and team defending. That's one thing that they've been working on with Coach Brendan Burke. He says their zonal style of play, their high press up the field, and that's what allowed Eric Ayuk's success. That's what allowed those goals to happen. Jones with his in the box. It's that base that they were then able to build off of.
Terrific in the buildup as well were Bethlehem Steel. Derek Jones, there you see his slaloming run through midfield as Bethlehem Steel go 2 goals to the good in this first half in the opening weekend of the season. Richmond kickers will have to make some changes at halftime. Just get a look at the goals. We'll have first half highlights coming up and plenty more. You're watching the USL. It's Bethlehem Steel 2, Richmond kickers 0.
The heat will wear you out real quick. And we've been through some hot ones. It's very physical. You gotta take care of your body and stay hydrated because every moment matters. That's why I drink Advocare Hydrate. I've got a job to do.
The Lehigh Valley's largest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles in one location is Rothrock. We have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, an award-winning service team, ultra-modern facilities for comfort and convenience, and the best deals in the valley. During the Nissan Now sales event, drive the 2018 Sentra S CVT for just $108 a month. Or a 2018 Rogue S all-wheel drive, now only $150 a month. Family-owned for over 57 years. Rothrock, where the cars are.
family would do without TiVo. It doesn't matter if a show is live, on demand, or even streaming from Netflix. No more juggling remotes, switching inputs, or guessing who has the show or movie we want to watch, because it's all on one box. TiVo has great apps like Plex, which lets us stream home videos and music from our computers and phones. And with kid-friendly apps like Toon Goggles, I feel safe giving the kids a little TV freedom. And I can enjoy mine, too.
Bethlehem Steel, 2 goals to the good as we enter the half here from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, the campus of Lehigh University. It's Goodman Stadium. The goal scorers in that first half, Derek Jones and Eric Ayuk, Richmond kickers, with a lot of changes to be made in the second half. As we now kind of transition to talking about the league as a whole, plenty of expansion teams coming into the league this year. Morgan Conklin, we've seen some expansion clubs have success in years previous.
Yeah, and you look at these teams, they obviously had some success in their first year as an expansion team, but also ever since. Obviously, Reno right now is just in their second year as a USL team, but if you look at these teams, they've Louisville, FC Cincinnati, 2 of the best teams last year in the Eastern Conference. Sacramento, very successful. Reno had a great first year. So they were able to establish themselves that first year, but also for 3 of these so far, carry that into success in the later years.
The only expansion club that has won so far in this opening weekend is Las Vegas Lights with a 3-2 victory at Fresno FC. In terms of looking around the league, let's talk with the USL president. We had the chance to sit down with Jake Edwards.
Hi, we're being joined today by Jake Edwards, president of the USL. Just getting ready to kick off an exciting 2018 season. Jake, thank you very much for joining us today.
Great, my pleasure.
Jake, it's been another exciting off-season for the USL, and buzz is really picking up as we're getting ready to kick off here. Talk to us about what you're looking forward to the most in 2018 and where the USL is positioning itself in the American soccer landscape.
Yeah, we've worked hard this off-season and the last few years now to create a really great league, but an aspirational league. We look at the leagues around the world and we say we would like to be in the company of some of those top leagues. We're now the second division in the US. We've worked hard to achieve that, and we aspire to be one of the top second divisions in the world. And there's some phenomenal leagues out there to aspire to that we can learn from. But things are going great. It's been a busy off-season. We've got some new teams coming on board, some great new owners coming in the league, phenomenal new players coming in the league. And it's going to be by far and away the toughest and most competitive season, but certainly it's the biggest season we've had yet. More games, more teams. We reach more communities, more fans than ever before. So this is another big year for us.
Well, the league this year certainly continues to grow, and we're welcoming 6 new teams to the USL in 2018. What are you looking forward to the most during this kickoff weekend of these teams coming in and the quality of soccer we're going to see across the league?
Yeah, 6 very exciting teams, 2 teams that are already established clubs in Indy 11 and North Carolina. Great pedigree, great fan bases, exciting soccer-specific stadiums, and Atlanta United, the lone team out of MLS coming in this season. Atlanta United breaking all kinds of records as an organization in MLS, doing great things for the sport. Fully anticipate the same for Atlanta United too. And then, of course, our new markets, Nashville and Las Vegas, Fresno. Really exciting new additions to our league, and have done tremendously well in preseason games so far, well attended. So very much looking to see how those teams and those new fan bases mix in with all the other teams we have in our league.
Welcome back to coverage of Bethlehem Steel against Richmond Kickers in USL opening weekend. Your score is currently Bethlehem Steel 2, Richmond Kickers 0. First half highlights still to come. The goals coming courtesy of Derek Jones and Eric Ayuk. Some fantastic goals. Let's go ahead and take a look around USL of some of the action from opening weekend yesterday. And we start in Louisville against expansion side Nashville SC. And it'll be Louisville who win by 2-0. Luke Spencer getting the opening goal.
And this was a game that I was really looking forward to coming into opening weekend. Nashville's first game as a USL club. Obviously, Louisville, fantastic season last year, reigning champions. I was really impressed with what we saw from Louisville. Oscar Jimenez, no surprise to see him involved in that second goal. He does a great job. Luke Spencer, so good on the ball and as a finisher is just deadly. But a great job back across, and McCabe involved with both goals.
And it's a very good work there from Louisville City, and the champions start their title defense with a 2-0 victory over Nashville SC. In Charleston, it would be the visitors, FC Cincinnati, who would open the scoring and win by a 0-0. Blake Smith getting the goal.
Charleston, a goal against in the 18th minute. That's pretty early. They weren't able to come back from that. But like you said, Blake Smith, kind of messy in front of the box, but he's just able to finish. Charlotte
Independence getting off to winning ways to open their campaign. Cordell Cato with a brace. There you see, you don't see it on that first shot, but there was a back heel that he was able to get onto in order to score that first goal. Here would be the second from Cato.
A new addition to the Charlotte squad and had a great debut, 2 goals for them, getting forward, making an impact. They lost Enzo Martinez, who's now with the Rapids, but not a bad person. Maybe he'll be the one to fill in.
As you get a look here at the scoreboard, Red Bulls 2 also winning by 2-0 over TFC. 2 Tampa Bay Rowdies winning in North Carolina in their first game in USL by a score of 3-1. And that's your look around the results from the Eastern Conference. In terms of the Western Conference, as we now show you some of the results from around the league, cracking game in Reno as they lost by 4-3 in a blizzard to Swope Park Rangers.
I guess you never know what you're going to get this time of the year.
It was legitimately a blizzard.
I mean, you got to play. The game has to go on, right?
Las Vegas Lights winning their opening game, as you mentioned, against expansion side Fresno FC by 3-2. Colorado Springs beating Los Dos 2-0. Oklahoma City Energy with a 1-0 victory over Tulsa Roughnecks in the Black Gold Derby. Coming up, first half highlights. Your score at the half: Bethlehem Steel 2, Richmond Kickers 0. You're watching the USL.
Trying to leave the scoreboard alone.
What is it? It's the vibe of life well lived, and it's happening right now in St. Pete Clearwater. 35 miles of white sand bliss and 1,000 ways to have your best day ever. Plan your getaway at visitstpeteclearwater.com.
The Hillside School in the Lehigh Valley works to maximize the potential of the child with learning disabilities through excellence in education. Join us in supporting our very own Sean Redmond, Hillside's art teacher, as he prepares to hike for Hillside by completing the Appalachian Trail hike.
Our goal is to raise $100,000 in support of student scholarships at the Hillside School.
To donate to the Student Scholarship Fund and support Sean's journey, visit hillsideschool.org or follow us on social media.
The Lehigh Valley's largest selection of new and pre-owned vehicles in one location is Rothrock. We have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from, an award-winning service team, ultra-modern facilities for comfort and convenience, and the best deals in the valley. During the Nissan Now sales event, drive the 2018 Sentra S CVT for just $108 a month. Or a 2018 Rogue S all-wheel drive, now only $150 a month. Family owned for over 57 years. Rothrock, where the cars are.
from Goodman Stadium on the campus of Lehigh University in Bethlehem, PA. We're at the half. It's Bethlehem Steel 2, Richmond Kickers. Neil, Chris Whittingham alongside Morgan Conklin for commentary of this one. Let's go and get to our first half highlights, show you the goals. Bethlehem Steel well on top for a majority of this half, and they would open the scoring. And we saw a lot of this feeding balls from Chambers in the middle, really pulling the strings, whether it's trying to find Allen central, but on the other side, Shriver, one of the better chances for Richmond. I think he forced the shot, didn't need to take it, but this is what we saw a lot of, that right side from Bethlehem. And Wara struggling to deal with the cross. He even bobbles it there, but we saw it so often, and that's what led to the Bethlehem first goal, is Wara not catching the ball on the cross. It's whipped across, it's bending away, but he should be able to go up and catch that. But on the other side, Ayuk just waiting for it, drops right to him, just a simple finish. And it would be Ayuk again with the opportunity playing in Real, whose shot not quite what he hoped for. Then Richmond coming the other way, wouldn't have too many chances. That shot coming off of a blue shirt in the end. And Thompson will play it back for Gonzalez, as here would be Bethlehem with the shot off the bar from Matt Real. And this was the same exact sequence that led to the goal from Derek Jones. Richmond wasn't able to clear it. Jones just beats 3 defenders, just keeps the ball at his feet. He finds the space. Too easy. Way too easy. A really nice finish. There's no tackle there in the middle. That has to be won in the middle if you're Troyer, but Jones just gets by him. And Derek Jones slaloming through the Richmond defense to make this 2-0. As you have a look at the first half stats, 9 shots to 4 in favor of Bethlehem Steel. None on the target so far, so well outpossessed, no shots in that first half. Not the start that Lee Kalishaw would have been hoping for. No, and another thing that stands out to me is the offsides. You see Bethlehem has 0, Richmond 5. Richmond's not on the same page attacking. Bethlehem has been able to just win the ball off turnovers, and then they get forward together so they're not caught offside. But for Richmond, they just need to establish possession. They are way behind in that when it comes to comparing it to Bethlehem. If they can establish that and then be on the same page going forward, it'll be more of a team effort rather than individual movements. And I think you see, from the Bethlehem point of view, the difference it makes to have a sort of cohesive system at sort of bigger level, at organizational level, where it's not necessarily plug and play, but you can have players that know their roles within the context of the game. Let's have a look here for Richmond Kickers. They get started at home at the City Stadium in a week's time, taking on Indy 11, also new into USL this season. They played a preseason friendly because they were off this week. Indy 11 is the visitors for Richmond Kickers next week. And they have their first road test, and then they get to go home for 3 games. So they have to take advantage of those 3 games at home before going back out in mid-April. But it starts today. If they can get these 3 points on the road, or at least grab a point, that helps them. It's early in the season, but anytime you can get points, it's necessary. We're going to look at Bethlehem's upcoming fixtures. In Tampa next week, take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies before 3 more at home, 4 of the first 5 at the home ground. And that's a tough schedule that you see in front of you. Tampa Bay at their home place, home versus Nashville, thankfully that they're not having to go there to play. But then Charleston, Cincinnati, at Louisville. It's tough to play there. It's a different field, so your style of play maybe has to adjust to it, or you just can't completely play your normal style. So if they can get the points for them as well, especially at home, it'll get them on the right track. And also the experienced clubs in USL in terms of having players that are more experienced professionals compared to Bethlehem Steel, who, as you mentioned earlier, the matchday squad, the 18, has an average age of 21 and a half, with James Chambers kind of dragging that average up with his 31 years. Which for them, you can see that as a challenge, having to play these teams, but also positive to face teams with such experience so early in the season. But I think what you've seen so far from Bethlehem is their advantage in athleticism, in pace, and in quickness. We've seen at times Richmond struggle to keep up. As we're underway in the second half, Bethlehem Steel getting the 2 goals in that first half through Derek Jones and Eric Ayuk to give them the 1-0 advantage as we start, the 2-0 advantage as we start play here in the second half. Richmond, Bethlehem swapping sides, obviously. Bethlehem going from left to right in the dark blues. Richmond in the white kits with the red trim, as Brandon Aubrey gets caught on the ball but is fouled in the process. We'll see what, if anything, Lee Kalishaw can do to change things by way of substitutions, as Matt Mahoney's touch lets him down for a Richmond throw-in. As Giuseppe Gentile on the bench, as Bruno Miranda, the Bolivian, on the bench as well. I'd imagine those players get thrown on at some point to just try and change things a little bit. All the way back to the goalkeeper and Wara. Here's Shinovsky. Heavily contested there in midfield and eventually given away as well by Thompson. Opportunity here for Bethlehem Steel through Eric Ayuk, the goal scorer. As Real available to his left will take the option. Real's cross is sent in. Actually, was more of a threat on Wara's goal than towards a fellow blue shirt. It comes out for the goal kick.
But that wasn't supposed to be a threat on goal. Supposed to be whipped across, just
very
got
much
away.
Unintentional.
Just got away from Real there. But what you've seen with Bethlehem is players getting forward a lot on that right side in the first half with Matt Mahoney, just sending in serve after serve from the right side. You see Real, the other outside back, getting forward. And you mentioned a bit of the youthful exuberance. And last year, that's something that Brendan Burke spoke about, is that he feels maybe their youth holds them back at times and they don't have that experience, but they have that energy to play, especially with the high press that they like.
Imura. Yudai Imura, the Tokyo native, did play in the Japanese league prior to arriving in the United States. In his 4th season with Richmond. Mikael Williams. Braden Troyer. Raul Gonzalez. Here's Oscar Umar. In midfield, the Ghanaian. Goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. 3 players on the pitch today of African descent. Derek Jones, Eric Ayuk, Oscar Umar for Richmond. As the challenges come flying in midfield, in the end, a free kick for the Kickers.
Every time there's a set piece or a stoppage of play and a restart, that's when I look for this Richmond team to establish their style. It's the easiest way to keep possession because Bethlehem has to drop off, they have to reset. It allows Richmond to reset. So this is a time when there's no need to play a 50-50. If you can keep it, it's the best bet.
See, long ball is played in the direction of Shriver, dealt with though by Brandon Aubrey. Imura, wayward in the direction of Raul Gonzalez. Adam Najim. .22 appearances for Bethlehem Steel last year from Adam Najim. Bethlehem acquiring his rights from New York Red Bulls. Richmond does seem to have a bit more of the ball. The build-up not as sharp from Bethlehem to start this second half, but Chambers will try and change that. Decent ball for Allen. Well held up. And a nice turn from Najim. He'll take it in towards Ayuk into the penalty area. Ayuk trying to find the shooting opportunity for his second, but dealt with there by Mikael Williams.
That whole build-up started with Richmond not stepping to James Chambers. He's not the fastest player on the field at all, but he's able to slip in between Raul Gonzalez and Braden Troyer because they didn't close the space and squeeze together. They looked like they were shifting to one another. Chambers made a small move and was able to split them. He doesn't move at lightning speed. You should be able to squeeze and stop that.
Opportunity from the corner. It's swung in. Decent header on it, but just going wide. Looked like Mahoney who rose to get the solid contact on that one and threatened Travis Wara's goal. The long ball a bit off the mark in the direction of Shriver. Just seemed to have drifted more a bit to the right-hand side. More of a 4-2-3-1 kind of look. Mahoney. Najim. To go all the way back with Mark McKenzie, just 19 years of age, on a homegrown contract with Philadelphia Union. Made the decision to become a full-time professional after just 1 year at Wake Forest. As the ball is in the direction of Najim, but intercepted very well by Thompson. Imura. Umar. Much better so far from Richmond in this second half. Here's Braden Troyer, the Columbia, South Carolina native. Well, it's a dangerous area, nearly given away there by Raul Gonzalez. Forced to go all the way back to their goalkeeper. Bethlehem Steel, the last team in the USL playoffs a year ago. 8th place in the East. Richmond Kickers second from bottom. Looking to turn around, but not getting what they might have hoped for this afternoon. Troyer.
This is much better from Richmond, finding the space, finding their teammates rather than just hitting every 50-50 ball. It's open at times, but it doesn't always have to go there.
Flag stays down as Shriver picks the ball up, tries to play in the overlapping run of Alex Lee. It'll be a throw-in.
You can also hear from the field players saying time, telling their teammates, we don't need to force, bring it back, let's build forward, because that's what allows them to build their attack rather than just trying a 50-50 ball every single time.
Shriver again trying to play it into the channel. Jones now under pressure. He's dispossessed. And a good ball to find the crossing opportunity for Shriver. It's headed away by Aubrey. And Jones will try and play out. Does manage to at least play it off a white shirt. It'll be a throw-in for Bethlehem Steel.
I wish we were able to be in these halftime conversations because I always want to know what is said. This Richmond team, over 7 minutes into the second half, totally different. They're finding the space, they're opening wide. Defensively, if they lose it, they're working together to win the ball back.
I think Lee Kalishaw got the hairdryer out.
You think?
Yeah.
I want to know exactly how it was said. I want to know what happened because it's impressive the way that they're moving.
Might have been some expletives as well. He could not have been pleased with the first half performance from his side, as now Richmond trying to put Brandon Aubrey under pressure. At Real to take it down. Able to keep it. Now going to try and run through. But one off him by Uday Imura.
Even right there, so small. Imura loses the ball, tracks back. A Richmond player misses his tackle, but Imura stays with his run, keeps coming with Real, so he's not allowed to get by him. In the first half, that wouldn't have happened, and Real would have been gone in behind.
Just that desire to press the ball a little bit, because they sat so deep in that first half, particularly before that opening goal. I think you saw the mentality shift out of the break. If Richmond can get one back here, have an interesting finale here at the Goodman Stadium. Throwing for Bethlehem. Epps dispossessed by Imura, well done. Trying to play it back for him was Cordoves, unable to do so. And eventually just swept away by Mark McKenzie. Williams trying to play it into the channel. It's actually on here for Gonzalez, and able to get to it first is McCarthy.
That wasn't a bad idea. Richmond, the attackers weren't ready for it, but a good job from Gonzalez to react to that play and try to get on the other end.
Najim. Well done to keep possession for Matt Real. Continues on his way. Matt Real going to play it in towards Brandon Allen. Dealt with there by Williams. But one again by Bethlehem Steel. Real actually had this man, Marcus Epps, on that far post. Didn't play him in. Here's Mahoney. Neatly played there by James Chambers. Described his role as more of a mentor to this young side, but you also see the experience and class of a player who's as well traveled as he is, as Ayuk was on his way. Derek Jones as well. Both goal scorers trying to carry the play forward for Bethlehem Steel, and in the end, a free kick as the referee pointed his arm the wrong way for Richmond Kickers.
Chris, you just mentioned that about James Chambers, and I feel like often we hear Brendan Burke say he's the heartbeat of the team, he's an extension of the coaching staff, but we hear all these great leadership things that often his play doesn't go unnoticed. It's just kind of swept under the rug because he is so consistent. And he's
also plays a position that, you know, it's not the most, you're not scoring the goals, you're not getting the assists, but it's a really important work in building the play.
Exactly. His stats don't stand out maybe besides minutes played, but he is such an important part of this team, just leadership-wise, but also his vision and the way he works defensively. You can always see him. If the ball's around, he gets into a tackle. He's not afraid of it, and he really sets the tone in terms of his leadership, but also with his play.
Given away there by Epps in midfield. Here's Troyer. So that pocket of space to play the ball for Shriver, who made his way towards the left-hand side. A long-distance effort is coming. It took a deflection on the way through, and Oscar Umar pulls one back for Richmond Kickers. A well-taken strike, but an unfortunate deflection from John McCarthy's point of view, and it's game on. Bethlehem 2, Richmond 1.
Richmond has been playing this second half, getting forward. They're dangerous. Did not expect this from Oscar Umar. Just rips it from distance. It takes an unlucky deflection for Bethlehem, but what a beautiful strike. He has acres of time around him. No Bethlehem player even in the vicinity, so he's able to get a strike like that on frame.
It's Brandon Aubrey who came off before it got to John McCarthy. And a giveaway there in midfield. Now Brian Shriver's got an opportunity. Richmond Kickers on the front foot here in this second half. The cross comes in. It's towards Gonzalez. The header is on, but not enough power behind it. Much more like it from Richmond Kickers.
Gonzalez had the right idea with that when the ball came across, and he's not going to score from a header at that angle. He tried to hit it back across, but unfortunately his body movement is going in such a different way.
Ayuk, though, able to win that duel against Alex Lee, and now he's running into the penalty area. Defenders coming off him, comes for Najim, tries to work around the white shirts. It does allow Richmond to retreat. Ayuk again, and he had drifted offside. That kind of opportunity at least has to lead to a shot.
I've been very impressed from the Richmond defense, though, which didn't allow Bethlehem to get a shot off. They could have forced one. Najim maybe had a little bit of space to get one off, but Richmond this back line from Richmond has dropped. But they've dropped to a point that then allows their midfield to get back in pressure. If their midfield didn't drop in pressure, the back line can't drop off and someone would have to step. But since their midfield is doing more work in this second half, they've been able to have better positioning as a team and they're more connected.
Still good opportunities on either end of the pitch. And now we've got an interesting game on here for the final half hour. Troyer. Mikael Williams. Trinidad and Tobago international with 17 caps, including appearing in World Cup qualifying during the Hex. It's a good long ball. Taken down by Cordoves. This ball just a bit too far in front, though, of Alex Lee. One of the interesting things about the domestic structure emerging in this country, from a soccer point of view, you have 23 clubs, I believe, this year in Major League Soccer, 33 this year in USL, is the number of opportunities for not just players from the U.S., but players around CONCACAF. And you see players like Mikael Williams with Richmond Kickers. Bethlehem trying to regain their form from the first half. Well, I don't think it's necessarily anything that Bethlehem is doing wrong in terms of their possession going wrong. I think it's much more about what Richmond has done here in the second half.
Well, in the first half, I think Bethlehem was really good, especially for a first game, the first game of the season. I think they were really good, but it looked even better because of the issues Richmond was having. But like you said, Richmond's really tightened it up, so we don't see Bethlehem being as successful. And like you're right, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just more difficult.
Najim with a little bit of space, plays in Brandon Allen. He'll have a shot! Well struck with the left, but over Travis Warro's goal. That's right on the hour mark. It seems like we'll have a double change here from Lee Calishaw. You saw the substitutes prepared to come on. Not sure if we're just about ready for it.
Substitutions for Richmond exiting the game. Number 27, Raul Gonzalez. And also exiting the game, number 14.
It's Udai Imura and Raul Gonzalez that will come off.
In their place, number 32, Bruno Miranda. and number 92.
And it is both the attacking options you mentioned earlier, Miranda and Gentile coming on. Gentile making his Richmond Kickers debut. Long time in NASL with Puerto Rico, Fort Lauderdale, Ottawa Fury, San Antonio. A well-traveled player. Despite being just 22 years of age. We'll see where they'll fit into the formation of Lee Calishaw as the ball is played into the channel for Epps. Can he pick out the right ball? It actually comes in low, took a deflection, nearly set up well for Derek Jones. Stick comes out here to Chambers. Nicely done there by Aubrey. He's had a few chances on the ball. Key possession and has done so brilliantly. Ayuk for James Chambers. Back for Ayuk again. A couple of step overs. Play it for Najim and continues on his way. Chambers into Allen on the turn! And again, the shot just going over the bar, and Allen remains down.
Brandon Allen is such a big, powerful forward. He's so quick with his back to goal, though. The way that ball comes in, he just takes the quickest little touch. First off, Najim has way too much time in that middle, but when it comes back through, Allen makes that quick touch, and before you know, the shot's even already off.
Shot had actually gone wide, but that's perfect back to goal center forward play on the turn.
But the reason it's also so hard to defend against that is because he can turn that quickly, or if he has a player in front of him who's then facing the attacking goal, he can lay it off, and that's a shot. So you have to be aware of both options.
Doing well to keep possession there was Cordoves. This ball is sprayed out to this left-hand side. Miranda, the substitute, who's settled into that left-hand side is the challenge of Gentile that has earned Bethlehem a free kick. You see a lot of flow and movement from Richmond from a positional point of view in the attack.
And it's been good, but what I want to see with those two substitutions, first off, how do they influence the attacking side of the game, but more importantly, how do they help defensively? Because that's what got really good in that second half, is just how everyone dropped and were on the same page defensively. So with those two substitutions, losing someone like Amore, who was really involved in the middle, and then Gonzalez, who a little bit more out wide, how do those two new substitutions find their defensive role?
Ball into the channel. Oh, it's well won by Derek Jones. Can he find his second in ahead of the goalkeeper? Just enough from Wara. Still on for Brandon Allen. Can he just find the shooting opportunity? It's in! Brandon Allen catching the goalkeeper Wara off his line and restoring the 2-goal advantage for Bethlehem Steel. It's 3-1 at the Goodman Stadium.
Wara has to be so frustrated. He did a nice job coming off Jones, who it deflected off his own body, but once Wara comes out, Allen does a nice job keeping the ball at his feet, and Wara can't get back to his line. He also knows that Jones is on the ground, and he's aware of that, and he can't retreat back to his line. Allen just takes advantage of that.
And Brandon Allen's second half work rewarded, a 25th USL goal in his career. Those were mainly with New York Red Bulls 2. And hits the ground running in USL this season. As treatment continues on Derek Jones, you see Jones and Travis Wara clattering into each other. And Jones left a little worse for the weary.
And that's a letdown, though, if you're Richmond. It's been really good. This second half has been strong. Defensively, it's been good. Unfortunately, those little deflections happen every now and then. You have a defender going in for a tackle, and it pops right off Jones, who now is a bit dinged up from it, but it led to a goal for them.
So it is Bethlehem Steel restoring their 2-goal advantage. Allen, Ayuk, and Derek Jones, the goal scorers, with Allen getting this one here in the second half. It's a nice ball there from Gentile. It's towards the run of Thompson. Just a bit too far out in front. Richmond pulling one back in this second half through Oscar Umar. Now it's game on. Bethlehem doing very well, though, to kind of calm the game down by getting their third. Mikael Williams. Brandon Aubrey. As you see Derek Jones coming back out onto the pitch. And he will carry forward. Chambers. Nice ball to the channel for Najim. As you see Allen frustrated there. Is a little bit of a physical coming together between Allen and the center back as the referee's whistle goes. It is a free kick. Marcos de Oliveira pulled from every direction.
I didn't see what happened to Allen, but I have a feeling that was a makeup call. That's just a great turn from Cordovez. Two big bodies. He just completely turns and gets after it. But when you have a player like Brandon Allen who's been knocked down a couple times and he's really letting you know how he feels, I have a feeling that's what that was.
And it was Shinosky who got into it with Allen. Free kick taken over the top towards Mahoney. Nice turn there to try and work around Troyer, but able to at least kind of ward him off and eventually swept away by Umar. Brandon Allen. Aubrey. And Epps. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50.
First goal scorer of the match, number 30, Eric Ayuk.
As we'll have a change. Eric Ayuk coming off and Santi Moar coming on. Just a little bit of a change to try and seal things up here for Bethlehem Steel. Mentioned in the pregame, 6 goals and 6 assists for Santi Moore in his rookie campaign a year ago for Bethlehem Steel. As Najim wins the ball in midfield and allows Moar to go on his way. You see the bleach blonde hair will run through this Richmond defense. Good challenging though from Richmond kickers. Here's Chambers. Aubrey. Nicely dinked ball over the top for Matt Rial. Moore for Rial again. Nice combination on that left-hand side as the cross is swung in towards Allen. Taken off the chest by Aubrey. And now Troyer cannot pass it back to his goalkeeper. Does eventually clear.
That's the third or fourth time there's just been poor communication on that back line. Wara is the goalkeeper, so what he wants goes. If he wants that ball, he has to yell for it and get it off the foot there. It's his box. He has to own it and can't let this miscommunication keep happening.
There's a couple of mistakes today. Would you consider that third goal a mistake from the goalkeeper, Wara?
No, I would say it was a messy play. I don't think that's a mistake. I think it's one that he's going to want back and just wish he handled the whole situation better. Could he have gotten that ball when Derek Jones kept that ball when Jones had it? I don't think so. It also was a bit messy with Jones on the ground, but what he's going to want back from that whole play is that when the tackle goes into Jones, before it even gets to the goalkeeper, that it's won and cleared out.
Here's Moar. Najim with acres of space. He plays it back for Moar. Has help to his left. Moar on the turn. Can he find the shooting opportunity? Try to play the pass on the way through, and in the end just bleeds out to Wara. That was a shooting opportunity, I'd have to think.
You often see substitutions later in the game decided on what the game needs. So for Bethlehem, maybe a bit more defensive. Santi Moar is an attacking substitution, but I'm not surprised to see him in this game. But he's a player on that left wing. He wants to come central. He wants to bring the ball on his right foot so he can shoot or play make. He's really cheeky, and it's hard to defend that knowing he's going to bring the ball central.
Good ball into the channel for Cordoves. He's able to stay onside and hold it up as well for Braden Troyer. Electing to just keep it in play. It's kind of awkward there for Gentile. The ball here from Umar. One in the air by Shriver and away by Moore. As Najim will take it off the chest and will try and play in Brandon Allen, who stays onside with his run starting in his own half. Brandon Allen, though, able to just hold the play and wait for his teammates to join him. Moore and Najim. Well worked on the counterattack. Ball with the top towards Mahoney, who had made his way forward. See the gust of wind starting to ripple through the jerseys of the players out on the pitch. Allen and Chambers. Dangerous, though, in the direction of Aubrey, but it's actually a decent ball in for Najim. Najim for 4! And a nice save from Travis Wara. It was more of a clearance from Aubrey, but in the end, it was a perfect through ball.
That was a fantastic job from Wara. He came up big on that last play. But as a defender, you cannot be split between your outside back and center back. Shinosky and Lee were just completely split. They both half went for the ball. Somebody has to win that through ball because they're both caught out of position once that happens.
And another quality opportunity for Bethlehem Steel. Let's take a look.
When this ball comes through, you see Shinosky and Lee. That's why Shinosky's tracking back, because they were caught flat. There has to be depth. The center back has to be dropped in behind an outside back in case the ball slips through. It's an easy cover. But when you're both high, you're caught tracking a fast attacking player.
Najim, the 23-year-old, unable to put that past Wara. Quality opportunity, though, again for Bethlehem Steel. Here's Miranda and Gentile, the substitutes, trying to combine. Pass a bit too heavy from him, and it'll be a free kick to Bethlehem off the heavy challenge. USL's official Facebook page brings you the best from across the league with news, highlights, and interactive features like the USL on Facebook to get the league's best content delivered to you. Mahoney. Moar. Marcus Epps. Well done on the turn there from Najim. Out wide for Real. Gonna run at the defender. Will cut towards the byline, try and send in the low cross. Still on, though, for Matt Real. Najim will just try and calm things down a bit, try to dink it in towards Allen, but dealt with there by Richmond.
That was so much better from Richmond compared to the first half. We didn't see that happen. We didn't see the defense win the ball and then connect a pass. It was always long trying to find Cordoves. Right there, the ball didn't exactly connect with him, but he was able to get his body, and then they win a throw-in.
Cordoves with a forearm shove into his back and earns Richmond the free kick. Seemed like the Bethlehem third has slowed down any momentum that Richmond had building in that first 20 minutes.
The goal that Bethlehem scored was perfect timing to stop that attack from Richmond, because they came out hot from the second half. It kept going, but when that goal happened, it was a bit of a defensive breakdown, a weird play, and the goal stifled the momentum, but also just the way that it happened.
So free kick coming here from Scott Thompson. And his second stint with Richmond Kickers. Play it short for Troyer. Actually tries to play the return ball towards Thompson. Miranda will work around the defender. It's still on for Bruno Miranda. He'll clip the cross in and not finding his far post target.
As a wide player like Miranda just there, if you do all of the work, if you beat your defender 1v1, you cannot just whiff the cross. At least get it in play. That one, there was no chance it went out of bounds. No player can even get on the end of it. He did the hard stuff. Just serve it across the box. If it's not the best, maybe it will deflect, but it has to stay in bounds.
As Gentile turns on the Jets to get to this one. Working on Mahoney, here's Giuseppe Gentile. Who whipped the cross in towards Cordovez, away by Aubrey. And out for the throw. Chambers. Noah Tamat in particular. As Bethlehem Steel looks to get this 2018 campaign off to a solid start. Made the playoffs a season ago after a season of struggling in their first year in USL. Seems like they've hit their stride a bit and certainly playing some quality football today.
And what's impressive about this Bethlehem team is when we spoke with Brendan Burke, he talked about the relationship with the Union and how they handle all of that.
As the challenge comes in from Aubrey for the throw.
And he mentioned that it's a challenge for a young coach in the position that he's in, but it's one that he really enjoys. And he was just saying that rarely does he have the same guys, but rarely do they ever keep the same functional groups. In saying that, he means a back four, a midfield group, a forward group. So they all have to learn the same style of play, and he says you really have to trust the system, knowing that whatever guys are brought in from academy or maybe dropped down from the first team, that they'll all be on the same page.
The ball is played in immediately towards the substitute Osei Wusu. And it will be a goal kick for Bethlehem Steel. Brian Shriver coming off. So a final throw of the dice from Lee Kalishaw. Kobe Osei Wusu, the substitute, 22 years of age. Joined after a preseason trial, college soccer with George Washington.
Did you see how he scored his first collegiate goal?
I did not.
At UNC, North Carolina.
Okay.
Right off, he played for George Washington. They had just been scored on. Off the kickoff, someone touches it to him. He sees the keeper's off his line. He obviously saw it before the whistle blew because he did it so quick and just scored from midfield.
Wow. So like 60 yards out?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really nice. If you Google it, it's all over the internet.
I'll find it on YouTube.
Hard to miss it.
As Chambers plays into the channel for Derek Jones, can he potentially find his second? Elects to instead play it out to Epps. Epps cutting onto his left. And that might have actually been heading towards that bottom corner if not for the run of Brandon Allen. Here's the aforementioned Osei Wusu. A bit too heavy out in front of Gentile. It will be a throw-in for Richmond. Braden Schroyer. Some aerial duels eventually went out through Miranda. Thompson to the feet of Osei Wusu. Taken off the chest by the Bolivian, I should say, Bruno Miranda. Gentile is going to play him in. Can he pick out the right ball from the edge of the area? Cross comes off of Mahoney in the end. McCarthy's going to catch.
That's the second time for Miranda. He does the hard work. He gets to the end line. That's difficult, whether it's beating a defender or using your energy to get there. Get the cross off. Give your team a chance because you did all the work and now you lose it and have to drop back and defend.
Braden Schroyer trying to win it off of Adam Najim, but Najim able to maintain possession. Taking off the bleach blonde hair of Santi Moore, and he just unfortunately giving away possession from a Bethlehem Steel point of view as Richmond will look to hit on the counter. Long ball is over the top. It's towards Cordovez. Does the flag stay down? It does. Cordovez with the shot. And coming back very well to stop Cordovez's opportunity was Mark McKenzie. Route 1 sometimes the easiest way.
We haven't seen that in a while either. We saw it a lot in the first half, is trying to force that ball, but since Richmond hasn't really played it, they found the corners, but haven't really found the front runner Cordovez in behind. I like the fact that they look for him because he's working hard and you feel like there's a goal coming for him.
21 goals in 86 appearances for Charleston Battery over the last 5 years. Joined Richmond in the offseason. Play on, says the referee, is Moar. Now will look to spring a counterattack for Bethlehem Steel. Here's the Spaniard Santi Moar. Just enough on it for Najim. Najim will try and play the return ball, but well dealt with there by Shanoski. This Gentile, carries on his way. Dealt with there by Brandon Aubrey. As Issa Ryan is being prepared to come on. So again, it's sent up this time towards Jose Wusu. It's a well-sprayed ball out to this right-hand side. Can the service come well this time? It's high arcing towards Gentile, but Mahoney keen to concede the corner.
The USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league. Follow USL.
It'll be Gentile who will head over to take this corner. Not a ton of space over by that fence. Can the Miami native find the right ball? It's sent in. It's decent service into the 6-yard area, headed away. Sliding to keep possession there was Thompson. Couldn't find that low ball through, though. As Epps will play it for Chambers. Or rather for Brandon Allen. He tried to spray it up towards Moore.
Really well done from Richmond responding defensively and getting pressure on the ball. They were lucky that Allen didn't have anyone with him that was able to come central, but a good job swarming that side area where Allen was, but also the defense dropping off, so they were able to win that ball when he played it through.
As the throw-in was looked to be taken quickly there by Richmond kickers, but instead the substitution is made. Marcus Epps will come off. The aforementioned Ryan will come on. Youngest ever player to appear for Bethlehem Steel when he made his debut last year. 16 years, 7 months, and 17 days. When he made his debut for Bethlehem Steel, obviously came through the Philadelphia Union Academy.
One of the most impressive things I find with Bethlehem players, I saw it last year and this year, is they're young, and sometimes you can tell just based on their size compared to some of these professional guys, but for the most part, you really can't tell how young they are. You look at a Matt Real, he looks like a grown man. He doesn't look like he's 18 years old, 18, 19.
Aubrey trying to play it for the aforementioned Matt Real, but Bethlehem Steel losing out in possession. Here's Gentile. His touch not what he was looking for. Good step there from Shanoski. 6 minutes left in the 90. Can Richmond kickers pull one back to make this a interesting finale? Goals coming in this one from Derek Jones, Brandon Allen, and Eric Ayuk. Richmond kickers pulling one back through Oscar Umar. All pretty good goals in terms of the quality of finishing required.
I've been impressed with the first game of the season. You never really know what to expect because both these teams play preseason contests, but it's not a real league game. So you never completely know what you're going to see. But overall, I think the level has been higher than I was expecting.
Chambers going to find the substitute Ryan. He's floated around pretty well. See the tricks and the step overs there, and Scott Thompson had no interest in it. Well, one there as Ryan then bumps in from behind. It'll be a free kick to Richmond. You see experience winning out.
It may not really show in the scoreboard, and Richmond isn't where they want to be in terms of this game and the score, but I've been very impressed with the second half from Richmond. They are a completely different team. Even seeing Thompson go in for that tackle and win it there, we didn't see much of that in the first half.
As McCarthy do a bit of time wasting here. Can't imagine we'll have too much to be added on. Did have a bit of injury time with Derek Jones going down after Allen's goal, after coming together with the goalkeeper. McCarthy taking his sweet time. Eventually booting it up the field in the direction of Ryan, but always heading out of play. Wusu, it's a poor giveaway. Allen, can he score twice? And Brandon Allen would have fancied his chances to make it 4-1.
I kept my eyes on Wusu after he played that pass, and he was just standing still. He knew that that was a terrible pass, did not have enough effort on the ball. Allen, he gave him a gift right there. Allen unable to convert, but Wusu won't make that mistake again. If anything, he'll overhit these back passes if he plays back again.
Wusu nearly with an opportunity to try and get in behind, but dealt with well by Bethlehem Steel as you get a look at Allen's chance again.
Allen just able to jump in on this. You see him go for that far side. He tried to bend it around, didn't get his foot all the way. That's why it was more of a straight pass towards the corner. But Brandon Allen isn't going to miss many of those gifts when it's literally given to him on a plate.
Derek Jones will come off. The goal scorer will make way for Mike Catalano. Promising young player for Bethlehem Steel, who's, although it seems like this pitch has been littered with them, on his first pro contract ahead of the season, comes from the University of Wisconsin.
This is a player I was hoping to see in this game, maybe hoping for a couple more minutes than just 3+, but I think he's a player that can really have a role on this Bethlehem team. He is a player who Brendan Burke said he's a strong presence, has the ability to score, and just said how he's a very important part of the squad. He impressed during preseason. I think in the middle, especially with a squad that has players coming in and out all the time, he could maybe be one of those guys that they look to. You have a James Chambers who anchors you in different ways, and maybe Catalano is that attacking presence that you need.
As Wusu's shot was well off the mark. So it'll be McCarthy who launches again. One in the air by the substitute Catalano. See a bit more of a physical presence in midfield. As the ball had run out of play, it'll be a throw-in for Bethlehem. Chambers. Challenge comes flying in from Williams, and one for Richmond Kickers. Gentile trying to take a touch away from the pressure, but instead feeds Matt Real. Matt Real's going to move into the penalty area. Can he have a shot? And his shot goes wide. Another opportunity to make it 4 for Bethlehem Steel.
Real did not miss by much. Any chance that he gets to go forward, if he can win a 50-50 ball, he's going to come through. He wants to get forward, puts a really nice look on frame. I love how he tries to find that far post, but just off the mark, but not by a lot.
Moore, who've received word from the ground, will have 3 minutes to be added on. Nice touch there from Catalano. He'll play in Allen. Allen is in again. He's around the goalkeeper. Can he find the shot? He does. Brandon Allen with a second of the match and a fourth for Bethlehem Steel. A terrific debut from Brandon Allen to make it 4-1 in favor of Bethlehem Steel, who seal the 3 points now.
Brandon Allen has had so much success getting the ball in between the outside back and center back. He's just able to have these little movements. He creates space for himself, and he's so good on the turn, or he's already running forward because he already made that movement. He's had that opportunity multiple times throughout this game. The Richmond back line should not have been surprised by that. It's just that he was able to finish, and he's so strong. Over the course of the season, he's going to be someone to reckon with for this Bethlehem team. They like playing those slip balls, and he's the best person for it.
And just off of this performance alone has put himself straight near the top of the Golden Boot standings if he can continue on his way. As we've had 1 minute taken off. I don't know if there's a goals to minutes of added time ratio, but either way it'll be just the 2 minutes to be added on. And Bethlehem Steel have turned in an amazing performance on opening day and lead 4-1 at the Goodman Stadium over Richmond Kickers, who wanted to see a change in their fortunes in this 2018 campaign. It has not come so far. A lovely 1-2 work there nearly sent Ryan on his way.
This isn't a death sentence for this Richmond team, though. We've seen some good parts. We've seen some positives from it. It comes down to putting it all together. It comes down to having a stronger start, but take nothing away from Bethlehem. The timing of their goals, especially in the second half, was really difficult. Right when Richmond found their momentum, Brandon Allen goal number 1. Towards the end, when they're pushing for a second, Brandon Allen goal number 2, and that kind of just ended it for them for the day.
Bethlehem Steel will see out the final few moments. Morgan, in terms of the quality of their performance today, what has stood out to you?
For Richmond?
For Bethlehem Steel.
For Bethlehem. I'm just impressed with the defensive positioning. I mentioned it earlier. That's, for both sides, defending is where you start your basis.
As it's given away there by Mahoney. Bethlehem rather able to win it back via throw-in.
If you have that defensive base, that framework, you can then just build off of it. And it was so obvious Bethlehem was on the same page from the beginning. Their job was made a bit easier due to the fact in the first half Richmond couldn't clear the ball. So they were able to jump on a lot of those missed clearances and create chances from it.
As the final whistle sounds, Bethlehem Steel win on opening day by 4-1 at the Goodman Stadium. First half goals from Derek Jones and Eric Ayuk, and a second half brace from Brandon Allen, neatly sliding past Travis Wara a couple of times to make it 4-1 in favor of Bethlehem Steel.
For a team coming into this game that was wanting to control the tempo in possession, I think Bethlehem can check that goal off their list for the day. Also in terms of defending, I've already mentioned, but taking advantage of their chances and attacking, and maybe the ones that didn't come off, but the movement from it, there's such a good start to then build off of.
For Richmond Kickers, despite their additions, a disappointing start to the campaign. They lose 4-1 away from home. As we take you out with the goals, the post-game is coming up next. We'll get your final thoughts and full match highlights, your final score. Bethlehem Steel 4, Richmond Kickers 1. A fantastic debut for Bethlehem Steel.
For the Lehigh Valley, it's in more than our name. The Lehigh Valley is in the values that Embassy Bank lives by and shares with our customers every working day. Like Embassy Bank's free checking for life, no monthly service charge, no fees, no minimum balance, free personal checking for life, guaranteed. Get the service and values you deserve at Embassy Bank for the Lehigh Valley. We're the Lehigh Valley's bank.
Hey Union fans, Dunkin' Donuts has the perfect assist for DD Perks members this season. Score medium hot or iced coffee for $1 the day of every Union home game when you use on-the-go mobile ordering in the Dunkin' app. Order ahead, skip the wait in store, and go! Enroll in DD Perks today and order your next Dunkin' run on the go. Dunkin' Donuts, the official coffee of the Philadelphia Union. The Union runs on Dunkin'.
Wrapping up a Bethlehem Steel 4-1 victory over Richmond Kickers. It was a terrific debut to this 2018 season for the host Bethlehem Steel, getting 2 in the first and 2 in the second, en route to a 4-1 victory over Richmond Kickers, who have plenty to think about over the next week before their next match. We take a look at the full-time highlights of Morgan Conklin. It got started with a terrific ball in from Mahoney, poorly handled by Wara, and the opening goal courtesy of Eric Ayuk.
That right side was so strong for Bethlehem in the first half. We didn't see it as much in the second, but this was beautiful. Just a great ball sent in, bending around, and a nice finish. Then Derek Jones just making this slalom look so easy. Brilliant. As he's sliding it across. Brilliant
finish there from Derek Jones after weaving his way through a trio of white shirts past Williams and past Wara for 2-0. But then Richmond Kickers would pull one back, takes a deflection on Brandon Aubrey on the way through. And we'd have game on for the final half hour before goalkeeper Wara off his line Allen able to work around multiple defenders, shoot between the legs of Williams for 3-1.
And that started with the broken play, Richmond not winning the tackle, but then Brandon Allen, I mean, 2 great goals. Just the ball in behind with this one, his turn, that big body moves so fast. He's good, he's aware, and just a really nice finish.
Full match stats, Richmond able to, eat into some of the possession for Bethlehem Steel, but still 61% in favor of Bethlehem Steel. 18 shots to 7 from Richmond kickers. I
was watching the possession stat over the course of the second half, and Richmond had a lot more until that Bethlehem goal, until Brandon Allen's first goal of the game. And that's really when it changed for them. But also, overall, if you look at it, Bethlehem had 606 total passes to 392 for Richmond. That just says it right there. Richmond wasn't able to find one another. They weren't able to work together enough, and Bethlehem was just on the same page, and it worked tonight.
And some of the dark blue shirts, including Brandon Allen, who you'd have to say is our player of the match this afternoon. 2 goals, the 5 shots as well, but also involved in the build-up play as well.
And I think that's what's very important is when you have a target forward. Cordovez got lost a bit for Richmond because he was that high forward just waiting to kind of poach and finish, but you have Allen who can finish, who's involved in the play, who drops into the midfield, and I think that was really the main difference.
Goals coming courtesy of Eric Ayuk, Derek Jones, and a second half brace from Brandon Allen give Bethlehem Steel a 4-1 victory over Richmond Kickers to start this 2018 campaign. For Morgan Conklin and our great USL crew, I'm Chris Whittingham, signing off.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.